Choosing the right brokerage firm when it comes to investing is very difficult, especially when you're a beginner. One of the major factors when it comes to picking the right one for you comes down to customer service. In this video, we're going to go over Fidelity's customer service and Charles Schwab, compare them using our experiences, and help you decide which one might be right for you. Welcome to the Wealth Twins Show. Let's jump into it. Nicole, what has been your experiences with these two brokerages? And if you want, I know you've been with Fidelity longer, so you can start with that one.
Fidelity's customer service, first off, I love the fact that it's live, it's 24/7, and I can do either chat or even have a phone call with customer service. And I appreciate that because over the years I've been with them, there's been a couple of times where I've actually really needed their help. And one time that comes to mind is the time I had my identity stolen, right? And it was based on a trip that I actually took to Egypt. And I had no idea that this happened. I entered an internet cafe based on a recommendation from a guide. And when I went to the internet cafe, something happened with the computers and somehow my identity was stolen. I did not realize it until I actually got a call from Fidelity asking me about some weird transactions that were trying to take place in the account. And then the representative said, "Have you been to Egypt lately?" And that's when all the bells went off and I said, "Yes, that's crazy." And she said, "Well, we think your identity has been stolen." So I definitely appreciated that. Not only was it a live person that was talking to me, not only were they compassionate, but they thought about what could it be that happened because they had connected the dots with another one of their customers where that had happened as well. So they were actually the first company to let me know that my identity had been stolen. And from then on, I had always been appreciative of them.
Now, I will say we both have Fidelity and Charles Schwab, and I know one of the questions we get a lot, especially from beginners, is why do you have both? Well, there's a reason. I want to buy different things, and sometimes it's easier to buy at a brokerage that has that particular security, or they're the ones who created it. So that's one of the main reasons why we have different accounts. Now, I've been a Charles Schwab customer for probably, I want to say almost 20 years, and I've never had a problem with their customer support. Now, through the years, I have noticed that maybe it's the training they have with their reps right now. The new people I'm getting on the phone are probably not as knowledgeable as the people I've had in the past. So maybe that's just a thing of they might be bringing on more people and it's a training issue, but I've never had a problem. I've always had someone who I can speak to live, no matter what time of the day or no matter what day of the week I've ever had to go through. I've also never had a problem dealing with any issues, especially when I'm abroad, right? And when it comes to Charles Schwab, they have two different customer services. One that deals with bank accounts and one that deals with the brokerage accounts. I never had a problem with either one, but I will tell you, the brokerage account ones, they are knowledgeable, but like I said, they can get a little more training, but the bank account customer service reps, they're excellent. Whenever there was an issue when my car wasn't working when I was abroad, or I had an issue with needing to replace my debit card, they have been on point every single time.
Yeah, if you think about the reasons why you need customer service, is usually when something goes wrong or something's too difficult for you to really understand how to do it yourself. So what's good about both Fidelity and Charles Schwab is that their platforms are pretty easily to navigate. And we've done videos before and we talk about the platforms and the differences between the two. But overall, they have a lot of options and they're easy to navigate for the majority of the time. So the reason why you're calling customer service is usually because you're confused about something or you're not sure about how to access something. So I really don't call customer service that often. But when I do like the fact that it's live. And I remember recently I had called them because something was very confusing on Fidelity's site. And it was when I was trying to add beneficiaries and change them into a trust. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe that day or so, but the platform was just not working the way it should have. And when I called the customer service, it was an interesting exchange because he didn't know what was going on either. And it started making me a little uneasy as to, okay, is this a customer service problem in terms of training, or is this a real systems problem? So with that, though, he was also empathetic and he was also trying his best. And what ended up happening, because we couldn't figure out the issue, I had to actually give him my information. I wasn't that crazy about it, but again, he did help resolve the issue, even though it was a workaround. So I'm not a fan of having workarounds, but at least I got what I needed done, and it was because of the customer service that they had at Fidelity.
Another reason why we look at these two brokerage houses for customer support is because you always get a live representative, right? Now, if you look at a lot of companies, what they're doing now is trying to put you directly to chat when you go for customer service, right? They want you to start typing in your problem to an AI chatbot. That's fine and dandy for certain things, but not when it comes to my money. I want to be able to go directly to a live person so they can help me with my problem right away. I don't want to have to chat you. I don't want to have to email you first and then you send me to someone. I want a number that I can call directly and get someone live on the line, preferably someone who's in the same country as me. Now, I'm in America, so I've never had a representative who was not in the country, right? That may not mean a lot to you, but for me, I like a native speaker who can help me with my problem so there's no language barrier problem. When it comes to other brokerage houses, you may not get that same thing. Maybe they'll push you to text first, then chat. But with Fidelity and with Charles Schwab, we never had that problem. It's a number you get directly to a live representative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for AI and helping how it can help us be more efficient. But when you actually do one of these chat bots and they say, did we answer your question? And it's obviously no, you did not. And I got to do this 5, 6 times before I actually get to customer support. And then finally they put me through. It can be kind of annoying. And what I do like about it too with the customer support, even though they do have AI bots for both of these companies, they still highlight the actual phone number that you can actually call to speak to a representative. Where you have some companies, and I'll just say Amazon, even though it's not a brokerage house, Amazon is one of those companies where if you need to actually contact customer support, it's like hide and seek when it comes to actually getting a number. There you can get chat, and you can still have to scroll down to find where you contact support and just actually get an AI chat bot. But trying to find the phone number to actually talk to someone at Amazon is a process in itself. So I do appreciate that both of them have 24/7 chat. They have email, they have online 24/7 calling services, and they actually make it very easy for you to actually get in contact with customer service by actually highlighting the number for customer service. So that is definitely appreciated, especially when you're talking about my money or anybody's money for that
Exactly.
matter.
Now, I will say one caveat is if you're going to call the brokerage services, right, and then speak to customer support there, if there is a lot of volatility in the market that day, you may have to wait online a bit before you get a representative because they're busy. I've had that happen several times, so don't get discouraged by that, but just know that can be the case. You might not get somebody right away. They probably play some market news or some music while you're waiting, but you will get a live representative.
Another thing when it comes to customer support that I don't think we really highlight, sometimes when you're using customer support, even though it's a plus, it can actually cost you. You're going to be paying for that convenience. If you're using them to, help you do an actual trade, they can be charging you. They'll charge you for that type of transaction if you're using live customer support. So that's something to watch out for because they really want to steer you to use the platform and learn how to do it yourself. So I know Nadia has done it in the past where she does a workaround and get some research help from customer support. But if you're actually asking customer support to do a transaction for you, you will most likely get charged for that service.
Yeah, even if it's a commission free trade, if you have them actually book it for you, you're probably going to pay about $25 or more, depending on what platform you're using. So just keep that in mind.
The best way to use customer support is as a supplement, but not something that's going to replace you learning how to invest on your own for yourself.
Now, one of the things we hear a lot of beginners say, they say they're not comfortable doing everything online. Now, what's good about both of these brokerages is that they have brick and mortar locations that you can walk into, right? Now, I've done this plenty of times when it comes to Charles Schwab, especially when I wanted to add money to my account. Like, I haven't done that in a while because now I've automated everything. But when I wanted to add money when I first initially got the account, I was able to write a check and then give that check to the people who are in the brick and mortar locations, right? It was very easy to do. I also can sit down with someone and ask them specific questions or whatever new account I needed to open. If I needed to open a custodial account or I needed to open a secondary account, it was very easy to ask those questions there. I know a lot of people might be comfortable dealing with people in person than they are online because there's so many scams out there. So this makes people more comfortable. What about you, Nicole?
Yeah, it's interesting. If we're really going to highlight the differences, because we both believe that they have good customer service. If you feel more comfortable having that ability to go into an actual branch to take care of some of the transactions or actually speak to a human person to person in person, then Charles Schwab has the edge on that because they have double the number of branches that you could walk into than Fidelity. So that's something that definitely gives Charles Schwab the edge.
Now, I will say one thing you can't do at Charles Schwab is actually give them cash at those brick and mortar locations. I don't know if it's the same thing at Fidelity, but I'm sure it
I would
is.
say you can't do it at
You can't.
Fidelity either. Don't give cash to anybody at the branch, okay?
Exactly. Yeah, so just go in mind knowing that if you want to fund your brokerage accounts or you want to fund your bank accounts, do not bring cash to those brick and mortar locations. It's not like a brick and mortar bank. You still have to put into your brick and mortar bank that you normally use and then transfer that money over.
At the end of the day, you watching this type of video lets us know something about you. You're trying to take the leap forward to actually start investing for yourself, and we applaud that, and it's fantastic. Now, we want to help you on your journey. One of the things that we've noticed with the people that we teach how to invest, one of the biggest hurdles that they have to overcome first is learning the language of investing. So, because of that, we believe that one of the gifts that we can give you is a way to kind of demystify some of that language. So, if you click in the link in the description below, you can download our free 25 must know investing terms that you must know, and you can get that totally free. So just click the link down below in the description.
Yeah, I think it's a great guide, especially if you're new to investing and you're dealing with customer service. So you can understand if that customer service rep is actually telling you something correctly when it comes to what you want to buy, or they may be mistaken too. So if they don't match up with what you know as a definition of something, you already know maybe I should ask for someone else, right?
So with that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone you care about, and make sure you check out some more of our videos. Until the next time.